action, habits, results. Results all starts right there. And I'm going to tell you something. When you're on a team, it's like this. They say being on a team is like everybody being on a trampoline. The movement by one is felt by all. You guys agree with that to a degree? You know what I'm saying? How being positive can be contagious, how being negative can be contagious. The movement by one is felt by all. Attitude is everything. This is a short slide, but this is a powerful one. Basically what I'm going to say is this, is you guys up here have decided that for whatever it is you're going to take some of these suggestions here and you're going to try to find out how good you can really be. You're going to make up your mind and stick with something and commit to something. Here is your answer for everything that comes up until you achieve that, whatever it is. Here's your answers for everything. I will, I'll adjust, I'll find a way. That's the attitude that you go with until whatever it is you've accomplished is done. You want to take the pressure off? You want to save energy? You want to figure out what direction to go? You can make one of these your answers. I will. I'll adjust. I'll find a way. I'm going to tell you what, you're going to make life a lot easier. And it's going to be very hard to hold an athlete down with that kind of conviction, with that kind of attitude right there. Number 7, practice room habits. This is where most of you are going to spend your time. I'm only going to give you 6 or 7 of them. And basically what you'll find is there's a theme between the ones, everything I talk about. And there's absolutely tons of practice room habits. But these are the ones you're going to find out most of them are this. You practice with focus, effort, hustle, and toughness every day. You practice with focus, effort, hustle, and toughness every day. You can't get full-time results with part-time efforts. Those 4 things I talked about have nothing to do with talent and everything to do with this. Focus, effort, hustle, toughness every day. Strong, positive body language all the time. Strong, positive body language all the time. And what I mean by that is, you know what? Your appearance doesn't vary regardless if you're winning or regardless if you're losing. Having a look is going to be part of you succeeding. Keeping your head up. You see people walk back to the center like this, or they're shaking their head. Nah, none of that. Doesn't matter. Heads up, boom. Hands on the line. Doesn't matter if you're ahead by 10, down by 10. Your body language is the same. You're unaffected by what goes on. You stay balanced, even keel. 3, you train and compete through fatigue. And we are in a fatigue sport, guys. Everybody in here agree with that? This is a sport of fatigue. Now, if I were able to tell you that, you know what? We can take fatigue out of it. Fatigue's not going to be an issue, you guys, for the rest of the season. Fatigue's not even going to be part of your match anymore. It's gone. You're not going to be fatigued. It's gone. Would that help your confidence? Knowing fatigue? See, everybody's a little bit afraid of getting tired. But you got to train through it. You got to compete through it. Because what do most people do when they get tired? You know what they do. They let up. And some quit. We still got some guys in our room. College level. They quit when they get tired. You have to become a human owl. Okay? And what I mean by that is you got to start being aware. And when that fatigue starts to step in, and you start thinking about slowing down a little bit and taking a break and easing up and maybe letting that guy spin around behind you, you get that moment of clarity where you make a conscious decision to wrestle harder 15, 20 more seconds. And I tell you what happens is this. You start putting those 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute together over the course of a season. I'm telling you, by the time tournaments come around, fatigue is not an issue anymore. And you do it a little bit at a time. You can't train one way and compete another, guys. You can't train one way, put your head down, lay down, let guys have their way with you, give very little effort, and then go out there and compete like a monster. It doesn't happen. I've seen very few people do it. It's a risk. I'm asking you, don't take the risk. but you build your conditioning a little bit at a time, and you face the fatigue, and you take a little bit of a step forward, and through the course of the year, man, you cover a lot of ground. And I tell you what, that's a lot of confidence between here and here, when you know you can compete when you're tired. That's a huge deal with athletes. It's huge. You're effective in your training regardless how you feel. I'm going to tell you something about wrestling, guys. And this, when you decided to compete in this sport, you have to be willing to give up comfort. This is a sport that you have to be willing to give up comfort. So how you feel doesn't matter. You may have to compete on that day, that match to get the state on a day you don't feel good. You may have to wrestle for your state title on a day you don't feel. It doesn't matter. How many millions of people got up this morning and went to chemotherapy with cancer? How many people did? You think they felt like it? No, they didn't. They did it because it had to be done. It has to be done. It doesn't matter how you feel. Athletes too much worry about how they feel. It doesn't matter. You got to take that out of it. Because I tell you what, if you're going to rely on feeling great, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's going to be days where you don't feel great. I want to tell you about those days. You can still get your hand raised on those days. You don't have to feel great. And you accept in this sport that, you know what, by me competing in this sport and being part of this fraternity, I have to give up comfort. That's the way it is. A couple more practice room habits. I think you're kind of seeing where I'm going with this. Compete every go, sprint, rep, drill like it's the one that makes the difference. Compete every go, sprint, rep, drill like it's the one that makes the difference. The biggest daily challenge we have is between what we know we should do and what we actually do. And we got to win those battles. Academically, athletically. The biggest daily battle we all have is between what we know we should do and what we actually do. We have to win those battles. The last thing I want to say is this. As far as practice room habits and competing. You compete through every performance regardless of what the outcome looks like. You compete through every performance regardless of what the outcome looks like. And I'm going to tell you for a couple of reasons. One, a habit's on the line. That's one of the reasons. But two, competitions are won and lost in the final seconds all the time. Competitions are won and lost in the final seconds all the time. How many wrestling matches do you guys see that are won as the clock ticks down or on the edge of the mat? Or one guy came out and got a big-time lead and the other guy just kept coming back. A win is never certain and a loss is never final. You compete hard through every competition because the habit's on the line. You may see this team or athlete again, and 3 competitions are won and lost in the final seconds all the time. I'm going to give you the only football fact I know. University of Minnesota playing Texas Tech. Do you know about this? It was in 2006. They finally got rid of Glenn Mason after this. He should have been gone long before that. They're playing Texas Tech in the Outback Bowl. And they are ahead. Minnesota's ahead 38-7 with over half the third quarter over. Over half the third quarter is over, and they are ahead 38-7. People are leaving the game. I guarantee you Minnesota's celebrating on the sideline thinking about what they're going to do that night because it's in Arizona or it's somewhere warm. But even more importantly, I'm thinking about what's Texas Tech? What are their coaches and athletes thinking? Well, somebody must have told them that a win is never certain and a loss is never final, because you know where I'm going with this. They scored, they scored, they scored, they scored, they scored, and went into overtime and they won. They came back and they won in overtime, I think 44-41. Biggest comeback in bowl history. And we've seen matches that equal that too, right? We've seen matches like that all the time. So you compete hard no matter what.